Good evening. My name is Joe Harris, and I want to address the article that appeared in the Spokesman Review concerning the corruption at the Grant County Sheriff's Office. First of all, I want to apologize to the residents of Grant County. I'm sorry that your tax dollars were misused and stolen by law enforcement officials. As a former police chief with 20 years' experience in law enforcement here in Grant County, I understand the importance of leadership, transparency, integrity, and more importantly, trust with the community. And anytime police leaders, especially elected ones, violate that trust, it needs to be dealt with. And one of the primary reasons I'm running for sheriff is to clean up this very activity. It makes my blood boil to find out about this kind of corruption. It's these very actions that destroy the people's trust with law enforcement. It's these actions that help to create the laws that are stopping the police from being able to do their jobs here in Washington. As a lifelong public servant, a U.S. Marine veteran, husband, father, and a fellow taxpayer, I'm going to fix this as sheriff. Being a former Grant County deputy, I'm deeply disappointed and hurt by these findings. But I can personally vouch for the integrity and professionalism of the corrections and patrol staff. It's not their fault. I can assure you that there's policies and standards in place that prevent those hourly employees from doing the same thing their command leadership team just did. Having my doctorate in public administration, I'm very familiar with policy, human resources, and management. One thing I know is what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I was told of this corruption a few months ago by several concerned citizens around Grant County. I didn't want to believe it was true, but I started to look into it, and through the work of several people and public records requests and conversations, I gotta say I was disgusted with what I learned. As later verified by the Wenatchee Police Department and the Stevens County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, a Grant County Chief Deputy improperly accounted for time from the citizens of Grant County. And because that Chief Deputy's brother is the elected sheriff, and because this Chief Deputy is close friends with the undersheriff, and because all three of them worked Seattle's finest, nothing happened. Only two of the administrators had the integrity to stand up for what's right, and I commend them. The rest of the sheriff's administration, you're complicit. Leadership starts at the top. Everything begins and ends with leadership. How can you expect fair, common sense, and just policing when the very top of the agency is dishonest? As a deputy, how can you truly be proud of your agency, your culture, and your profession when your bosses are crooked? What does it tell you when the elected sheriff tells his command staff basically to circle the wagons, protect my brother, and squash any dissent? What does it tell you when the sheriff, after 2 independent investigations by outside agencies, and still refuses to take ownership of the problem and fix it? When I am elected, I promise leadership, transparency, and integrity. And when I'm sheriff, I'm going to enact policies that govern timekeeping of salaried employees, and I'm going to make sure that we adopt the county's anti-nepotism policy, which is another reason this corruption was allowed to happen in the first place. When I'm sheriff, corruption is going to be dealt with swiftly and publicly. You as the public deserve to know how your government is operating, and you deserve the right to hold them accountable. I sincerely hope that between now and the election, the sheriff's office will make some serious changes to the policies in that agency for the good of the county, for the good of the deputies, for the good of the citizens. As your sheriff, I'm going to make sure that these things get fixed and we move forward together as a community. Thank you.